be so real. Someone better get the door. Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 better.
Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?
Run, 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 run away.
No, I don't know. Like, and then I wasn't sure if, if this was still gonna go on.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do anything. I
didn't do anything. My normal routine.
I was
Prepared as
basically
always.
I was basically just chilling, waiting to see like
This is gonna happen.
You're
Right?
playing it by ear.
basically.
I respect that.
Respect.
Welcome to the Death Taco Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today I'm here with Alex and young Moises. And today we're here to talk about the 2008 film, The Strangers, directed by Brian Bertino. And when I looked into this dude's, you guys know who that director is at all?
No, I'm not a movie fanatic.
I have not.
So apparently he's made nothing. He made this one and the second one.
Great.
So there's nothing to add on top of that. This movie's starring, what's the chick name? Is it Liv Taylor?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. Steven Tyler's daughter. I just remember her from the movie with the asteroid, fucking Armageddon.
I have no idea who any of these people are, to be honest with you. I came in this blind.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
No, but so you guys, neither one of you had seen this before we watched it today, right?
No, I heard it was really good. So I wanted to watch it.
I've seen the sequel, but I didn't watch the first one.
So you're one of those guys who will just casually watch a part two, with just no fucks given, bro.
I watched the second one with you, and
So same thing.
So I just directed you. My bad, all right? Well, they're not connected very much, right? Like, in your opinion?
no,
I mean, outside of the fucking guys in masks.
but sort of like the routine is sort of the same. It's just things
Kind of played out.
But
Yeah.
they don't connect with each other. Okay. I've never seen the second one, so I have no idea.
Well, I mean, originally I got us together to watch the Purge movie, which is essentially a home invasion movie. That's what they call this type of horror.
Isn't this the same thing?
It's kind of the same concept. That's why when you said to do this one, you guys prefer to do this one, it wasn't too crazy. It was like, all right, it's the same concept. You know, people in a house, motherfuckers trying to get in, playing Home Alone pretty much. So, it wasn't too different to do.
Pretty much the same concept.
I know. I think I actually saw this at the fucking movie theater. It came out in 2008, so I would have been 16. I remember seeing the trailer for it in the movies and being really hyped. That's why I said that one part where the guy's in the kitchen with the girl. That was the part they played in the movie theater. It's quiet as fuck, and you just see dude walk out of the background. And I remember I'm all shit myself. So I was game for this.
The only time, like I said, I haven't watched it. I remember seeing the trailers for it, not the official trailers for the movie when it come out. I'm talking about I don't know if it was Showtime or HBO or whatever when they would show movies like that. I remember that scene where it's she's in the closet and the guy's walking around. I remember that was the little trailer for it saying that watch this at this certain time. That would be the trailer that showed the guy walking past the girl in the closet.
Oh, and he was wheezing and shit.
Yeah. What?
What do you mean he was wheezing?
You didn't hear the guy breathing?
Nigga, when he was walking around, bro, he was
He's out of breath.
if he had just smoked an entire pack. I know what that sounds like because that's how I breathe, I'm pretty sure.
I was like, is the guy out of shape or something?
I mean, they were running a fuck ton.
I'm apparently they were vanishing, so I don't see what's the issue.
Yeah. But nah, so okay, so now I'm going to kind of do a breakdown. We tried to not give away spoilers just now. I don't know if that worked out. We're pretty new to this, so I'm not really sure.
We're pretty good. We're fine.
But now we're going to go ahead and get down to actually breaking through the movie. So if you haven't seen this yet, I recommend checking it out. We'll give you our thoughts afterwards.
I'm sure by
But,
that time everyone's seen it already.
Yeah. So it's been about 12 years. So I mean,
At this point, I don't know what you're doing.
exactly.
Then again, I can't say nothing because this is the first time I actually watched the whole thing.
You are one of those assholes, man. It's been 12 years.
Then again, my defense, I don't really watch movies. I'm not a movie fanatic person.
I'm one of the people that watched this. Like, what?
So we're mixture. We're mixture.
Right on. So this movie starts out. I think it was when the couple got to the vacation home or the farmhouse, whatever the hell that is, right?
No, it opens up with basically it opens up with the ending.
Oh yeah. When we like see the aftermath, kind of.
Yeah, the
And there's,
children.
like, and then they
call-
had didn't they have some stat that popped up at the beginning?
No, they had the kid calling the 911.
All right, and then after that, that's when like the little the font came up and it said like so many break-ins happened or some shit.
I think that was before that. I think you got this backwards, dude.
Hey, I started with that.
It was-
all right, man.
No, because it was that.
It was before, it was
and
before.
it was that, and then they showed the kids calling 911.
Right. So we learned some scary facts about America.
Break-ins, crimes.
Yeah. And then they show the aftermath of what happens by the end of the movie, which we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And then we see the couple arriving at this farmhouse. And everybody looks very uncomfortable.
It was a very uncomfortable drive.
It was. I think she was crying and
Dude was out of it.
he was brooding. That's the way when your like eyebrows are kind of like pushed together.
Yeah.
And so then they get out of the car, and then we kind of like do these weird flashbacks to whatever upset them. They were at some like wedding party or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had this really random scene, bro, where he's carrying this bitch out of the reception.
I think he took her out because that's when he was gonna like do the propose thing. To
Yeah,
her.
because they're sitting at a table, and the next scene is this dude like carrying this chick to the parking
just
lot.
dead weight.
I
Have
feel
you
like-
ever have you ever been so in love that you just felt like carrying someone?
No.
You might get like lifted off your feet like David Blaine trying to show a magic trick, but I'm not full on like just carrying you.
No, carrying like that, I haven't.
It was just weird because like he shows up, you know, like out of nowhere, and he's like, come outside.
He like come outside and he just swoops this bitch up from the chair.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When that flashback happened, I didn't even know it was the same guy. I thought it was a different dude.
It's fair. It's fair.
I was like,
But,
some dude just hitting on this other chick.
I feel like they kind of like they didn't really explain it too well at first.
What do you mean?
Like why they're bummed out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
it showed it.
after he carries her out and then he finally puts her ass down. He pulls the fucking box with the ring in it, and he's
Well,
gonna
yeah,
show
but,
her.
He basically asked her to marry her, but she said it like later on. She was like she wasn't ready for it, so it kind of bummed the guy out.
I don't know. Like I'm just gonna give you like my initial thoughts when I was watching it.
Hmm.
It was just sort of like I was like, damn, like what does this guy do? Like, you know what I mean? Because like it was just weird. Like when they're driving home, she's not saying anything to him, and like he's not even like acknowledging her.
No, it wasn't anything the guy did. It was just like the guy proposed to her, and she didn't want to.
Yeah, she wasn't fucking going for it, man.
She said it in the movie. She was like, they were talking about it, and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm not ready, or something like that. So the guy just got bummed out because like he put all his effort into it, and she just like she basically shut him down.
Yeah, because he really dressed up that fucking house. Like there was roses and shit. That's the other thing. So after that, they don't show her directly tell him no, but it's implied by how they're acting. Because
Well,
after
I
he
feel
pulls
like-
the box out, then they go back to the house and you see all the shit he's done in the house.
And then you see him like put the ring on the table and just walk away from it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to say is that they kind of stretched out.
I
A
think
lot of things in the movie were stretched out, I
Yeah.
feel.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that is true. I just think that in this perspective, it's probably just like the way they kind of maybe put it around. It's like
It was shaped weird like that because, like I
Yeah.
said, the flashbacks are all over the place.
Or maybe they just didn't go like too in depth with the characters.
That also.
'Cause,
I mean, I guess in the end of the movie, the way it is played out, that doesn't really matter though,
No.
because then it's like there's like people coming over, like interacting or anything. It's basically most of the time it's just them like running away.
And it's not like there's any growth. Like they're not any different people by the end of the movie. So
Yeah,
I
I think
know-
that's what the point of the movie was. Is like from what I remember seeing, like from like because I have seen reviews for this movie and everything. I remember a lot of people implied that the movie like Basically, it was just trying to say that it can happen to anyone, and it wasn't like it could be any family. Doesn't matter like if you're rich, poor, whatever. Like it can just happen to anyone, no matter their circumstances or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Nah, but anyway, so now the couple is at the crib. Now after this reception, we know now why they're upset. They're kind of just moping around the crib.
yeah, the dude decides to go on a drive at 4 a.m.
This is before. That's too far. Because
Too
before
far.
that is when they get a fucking,
Oh yeah, when
they hear the knock at the door,
Yeah,
and when they open it, oh, it was in the middle of makeup sex. Also,
yeah,
very graphic makeup sex.
totally graphic. You saw all the clothes on.
You saw all the clothes coming off.
You didn't see nothing.
It was too much.
Cover your
I
eyes.
felt bad. I felt bad for the dude because like he was kind of having a bad night, and then like like
I thought that at the very end, bro. Like he just got double slapped.
Dude's dead already, and before he died, he said got no. He got told no, and then he got stopped in the middle of sex.
Exactly.
Dude died with blue balls.
Purple. No, so they hear a knock at the door, and it's a blonde chick, and it's 4 in the fucking morning. I don't
First
know how
off-
I react in that situation.
Yeah, I was like, first off, I'm not opening that door at 4 a.m.
I mean, I guess you do, because it's just a chick. It'd be one thing, if they were already, like, masked up. Like, if you've seen them in the masks, obviously, fuck that. That door's not opening.
Uh-huh.
But, so she asked for someone named Tamara, I think.
I don't remember the name of the guy that she was asking for.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Tamara.
And they're like, oh, no, that bitch doesn't live here, so deuces.
Well, you think if they hadn't answered the door, like it would have went completely different?
It just still went down.
No,
Really?
because remember, we're basically just jumping back to everywhere. Because basically, in the movie, she asks why, and she basically said you were home. So basically, implying you let us know that you're here and you open the door.
Yeah, but with the vision these motherfuckers had, bro, they knew where everyone was at every second. They knew where you were going. I would assume they would figure out if you were home pretty easily.
That and I would assume from the ending also, like how remember when they were getting the pamphlet from the little Christian boys,
Yeah.
where I don't know if they're a family or whatever, but I'm gonna assume maybe they're a family. That the mom basically told her like, oh, next time will be easier for you. So that basically kind of I feel like implies that they've done this before, and just now it's like maybe they're bringing her along to it.
That's
Like-
true.
So but I could be thinking more into it, but that's what I got out of it.
That's what I figured also. But so now we're to the part you're talking about. All right, the chick knocked on the door. She dips out. And now the guy decides, all right, I'm going to take a fucking drive at 4 in the morning after some creepy bitch just knocked on my front door.
Leave my wife home alone,
Exactly.
or girlfriend or whatever.
His almost fiance, but not quite.
Her not ready.
Is,
Fiance.
I don't know what we are yet.
That's right.
Basically.
So now the chick's home alone. She's kind of fucking around with the wedding ring. And then she hears another fucking knock at the door. The chick's back again. I don't think she opened it that time. Doesn't she just talk to her through the door?
Yeah, she just struck through the door.
And she was like, nah, this bitch still isn't here, so you can dip. And after that, she hears... Or no, that's when the smoke detector goes off, because the chimney was smoking, because the dude started a fire for her like a fucking gentleman, which is why he should have been husband up. But she wasn't having none of it.
And somehow they managed to almost have a fire in the house.
Exactly, because they forgot to open the duct, I think that's what it's called.
I think because she was trying to open it while the fire was on already.
And then she hears another bang, and that's when she starts to get panicked. I think I would have been fucked up way before that. Because they're out in the middle of nowhere. There shouldn't be any people around there for real.
But at that point, shouldn't be anyone around,
But like,
especially that time. Anyways,
I had like this like throughout the movie, I'm like, the guys lived there. You know, like that was his dad's like family house or whatever. He has to know the area,
what about it?
so it's like you would think he'd be a bit more like aware.
Of like, what do you mean, like
That
where?
like nobody should be knocking at their door and shit.
Well, not that. Just like he's like he knows the area because like throughout the movie they kind of just stay within the house. They don't really go anywhere else, and like you would think the guy knows the area,
Like, do you mean like the house or like the area, like where they live?
the area where they live.
What about it though? Like, I don't know.
Like he should be like more. He should have the advantage almost.
Yeah, because I mean it's his turf.
It's home turf, right?
Yeah,
So he should have like a blow up doll or something buried that he can just pull out, use as like a shield.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, you saw them trying to like drive away and like run away and everything. They always caught up to
You're
him.
right though. Like it seemed like they had no fucking idea what to do in that situation.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, well, like he doesn't know these people. He has to at least know like the area of like the people that whatever.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, like, you would think it would be in his advantage, or like you think he catch on pretty quick, and he's like, all right, we can't be here no more. We gotta go. I know a place.
I know a person.
I know a guy.
I mean, I'll give him that because it's like, dude didn't even know where the gun was.
He didn't know how to use the fucking gun.
And he didn't even know how to use it. He didn't know where the bullets were. And then he even told his fiance or whatever, hey, you stay at the house while these people are trying to break in. I'm gonna go dip and get someone else. Like
Horrible.
yeah. That's one minus point for the husband material right there.
Nah, but so now the chick's knocking on the door still incessantly while the guy is out having his drive. So the chick is home alone. And that's when she starts grabbing her phone. She calls dude. She's like, hey, you got to come back because fucking this chick keeps fucking with the house. So he's like, all right, I guess.
And then they cut the phone wire.
And either the phone wire got cut or the guy hung up because I don't know.
I think they cut the phone wire because she tries calling them again and it didn't go through.
Yeah, so at some point we do learn that the phone wire was cut for sure. But we don't know still. I think that's up for debate. That's speculation. He was pissed off, bro.
Was it a home phone or was it her actual?
It was a
It
home
was
phone.
the landline.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
because it was a
never mind.
big black phone, wasn't it?
Yeah. I know you guys haven't seen one of those before.
I'm sure we have.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, so now she's in the kitchen and she's kind of smoking a cigarette. She's drinking, and that's the part I was telling you guys about where the guy with the mask steps out in the background and there's no like music to kind of acknowledge it because at that time it's the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So every movie is really like music based and like, sound effects. Whenever something happens, there's that jump or some score or
very,
something.
very
that's-
dramatic.
Right. And for this movie, they didn't do that. It's quiet, dead fucking quiet while she's just walking around the kitchen and this figure just appears in like the background out of nothing.
The reject the scarecrow.
Exactly. This might be before that movie came out or at the same time. So maybe that's why it fucked with me.
Yeah, because I was
But
like,
did you guys get like the sense that I felt from that scene, or is that just a me like nostalgia thing?
I mean,
Like, what was your opinion on that particular part?
It was
like,
like-
am I building
it
it
was-
up more because of like when I saw it when I was younger, or is it actually a dope scene?
it was a good done scene. I would say that because
Yeah.
it's like I don't think I've ever seen someone else do that.
It was creepy, like without needing anything else to it.
Like, if you'd never seen the movie before and they showed you a clip, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. The only thing I don't get, how the hell do they all not make any footstep noises in a wooden floor? Like, even in that scene when it's super quiet, you don't even hear the guy's footsteps.
Maybe they cut the soles off their shoes. It's just socks.
They're just wearing socks around.
They're wearing shoes, bro, but the socks, they're like the bottom part.
They're wearing the fuzzy socks.
Exactly. Nah, so she's, pacing around. I think that's when she puts on the music I was talking about. She plays a record.
Yeah.
She listens to the sweet sounds of some creepy ass girl from the 1920s, I feel.
Feel the soul. of
Was the
20s.
music not like at all just like creepy?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the music.
You liked the music? That like old folky thing?
Not that one. I think it was the first record they play when she was like doing her things when the guy left.
Yeah. I mean, that was creepy too.
But then she played a different song later. That's the one that cut off, right?
That's the one.
It's the same song,
It's the
wasn't
same
it?
song. They just hit the record and it made it start skipping. And that
Oh,
was the
okay.
loop was that fucked up
Yeah.
sound.
Okay.
That was a real high anxiety moment because that's when I think that's when she sees the dude with the mask in the window. And that's when she bumps the record and she starts flipping the fuck out.
Oh yeah, because that one scene, the guy like he's there in the shadows, but then he just walks back out.
Yeah, and then after that, then that's when she hears like the wind chimes and shit. And that's when she goes to the window and you actually see the guy with the mask, or she sees him for the first time. And that's when all hell breaks loose.
Dude walked in the door, locked himself back out.
Exactly.
I think it was kind of like, it was weird. It's just like, they don't show like there's very little scenes where they show like what they're doing on the outside of the house.
I think that's the point.
It's kind of like
It's kind of like that Friday the 13th thing. Like when he's off camera, low key, he's running his fucking ass off, bro. He's got a sweatband on under that hockey mask, bro. He's hot and he's red and he's breathing hella heavy.
He takes off his mask with the ones around.
He takes off his fucking mask, bro. He has a Gatorade in his back pocket. He needs fucking hydration,
Changes
bro.
his shoes up and everything.
or it's like I mean, in the movie the whole time you don't see anyone running, but they're like vanishing like 1 second from another. It's like
You know they gotta be fucking sprinting, bro.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you human or superhuman?
That's kind of the point. You don't know.
And they're like, it's obvious they're trying to like scare them by like making extra noise and stuff. That's what I'm
Oh, they're
saying.
playing it up, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that the whole time. I'm like, they could have just killed them right away, but like they're just messing with them the whole time, like just fucking with them.
They're definitely cranking their anxiety. I think that's part of it. It's probably a rush for them to like freak them the fuck out and kind of know like it's inevitable. That's what this movie really is. Like it's like you said from the get go, you knew there was no hope.
I think it's just more like not feeling safe. That's what
I feel like
kinda
it
what
goes
it
back
is.
to you like having just anxiety, just like say you're home alone, basically giving you that anxiety of like, what if this happened to me? You know.
Exactly. Like
Playing
you've
off of
heard
that.
knocks before, you've heard noises at your crib. Like what if it wasn't just a house settling or a tree hitting it or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of what the movie's trying to like get across to you.
Well, I was just reading it like the notes from the movie and stuff. Apparently, like something similar happened to the director.
Yep. Somebody knocked on his door and asked if somebody was home or
Yeah.
some shit.
And I guess it was just that weird feeling, like, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, like, I've had similar experiences, bro. Like, this thing, I don't remember if I made this up in my fucking head, but when I was a kid, like, middle school, like, 12, and we had just moved out to this big house out in Lenexa. You know, my dad was working nights at the time. And I remember we got this phone call, and we had a landline. And I answered the phone at, like, fucking 1 in the morning. I don't know why I did it. But I remember it sounded like, the best way to describe this is it sounded like a guy trying to sound like a woman. And they asked, "Is your dad home?"
So yes, he's home.
No, he's not. What are you calling? You need to leave him a message? That's what I said.
And what do you say?
Hung up.
Hung up.
Scary as fuck. Scared the shit out of me. But that's like a thing that like relate to that. So I know that feeling, bro. You feel uncomfortable as shit after that.
I don't know what's scary, like phone calls or like knocks at the door.
I probably think knocks on the door because the phone call is
Oh, the
like,
phone call, bro. Yeah, it could be a prank call. That could be
Yeah.
fucking anywhere. There's a
could be,
knock
but-
on the door, bro. Somebody's jerking off outside your window watching you.
Well, like you know how kids, you know, like they go up, they knock, and they run out, and like most people don't think much of it. Same thing with like phone calls. They're like, oh, like just call a random number and say what what we gotta say, and be done with it.
I think now that I think about it, I think this is more scarier, like more early 2000s than it is now. Because now it's like you have a security camera on your doorbell or anything. You can just literally look at, be like, what do you want? You know.
Yeah, like
Guys,
that.
back then, like that door in the movie, she didn't even have a peephole or anything.
Well,
So it's like you don't know what you're opening up to. You know.
I guess it wouldn't work in the city, like a neighborhood.
Well, it couldn't because of all the fucking noise they made.
Yeah.
I think even the second one takes place in like a camping ground or some shit, so they're way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere. It's like this doesn't work if there's people around, because somebody would notice, bro. Some dude's sprinting up and down the fucking main street outside of here.
Yeah, at that point, it would probably be much more harder. At least maybe like they could get away with it somehow, but it wouldn't be the same way it is that.
Also, you think? Well, I guess you could say like they're basically killers. Like, you think these killers were smart or like were they just lucky?
I have a feeling
In this one, they were
like they had to do it before multiple times, and so they kind of had an idea of like how to do it. That's what I see out of it.
Yeah, they had to be smart for this one.
Yeah.
Because like I guess there were some parts where like they kind of like lost where they were at.
That's something I'll talk about afterwards because I got thoughts about that. But so to get back into this now, she's flipping the fuck out. Her man gets back home, and he believes her pretty right away, right? Like he doesn't. There's no doubt. Like she's like, there's somebody outside, and I feel like it was about a 2 minute period where they're both like going out to the car and shit.
Yeah,
And his car's all fucked up.
Yeah, because isn't that when they look out like the garage like window or whatever, and they see the girl just standing in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
And that's when they see the car messed up.
She's out there literally just flexing, like both arms up, kissing each bicep, like you guys are fucked.
And then they're like, what do we do? Everything. They're like they go down like not looking through the window, like what do we do? And then they go back up to look outside, and she's not there no more.
I hate when they do that, where it's just like they're there and then they're not there, especially with like obviously if like they have like different circumstances and stuff like that. But like these people like they're walking, you know, they're like they're not floating, they're not doing anything. So obviously they had to run, you know, from one end to another end. And I just feel it just doesn't work as well because like you're just stuck with like you're just with that thought with like, bro, like
why did you vanish?
Like,
where did you go?
How fast did you run?
And how did you know where you were going that you'd be out of eyesight?
That's what I'm like. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like earlier, like they play like they're humans, but then sometimes with the things they do, it's like, okay, that's not possible. Like,
it's very
this dude's vanishing, or this dude's not making any noise, or like I mean, I don't know.
It's very questionable.
Yeah, it's very questionable.
And I forgot to mention earlier that the main dude, his name was James. He called his boy Mike for a ride. So that happened. And then, you know, after he gets back home from his little drive, they both get spooked. I can't remember why. Like they seen all that shit, but something happens when he goes out to his car and it's all fucked up. Because he comes back inside and that's when he grabs the shotgun.
Well, they got hit by the truck.
They got hit by a truck?
Yeah. The girl in the mask, you know, she's in the Ford pickup truck. And, you know, she like...
Oh, when she like crashes into the
she
bumper
just
when
rams
you're
right
trying to
into
get out.
him.
So then after that, they go back inside and that's when he grabs the shotgun.
Yes, I think.
And then while he has the shotgun, that's when they both start walking towards the front door, and the guy with the mask starts smashing it with the axe.
They go into they just go back in the house. That's when the axe thing happens. After the axe thing is when they get the shotgun.
Yeah. Because when the axe thing happens, that's when they put the piano on the fucking door, and that's when the guy makes the comment when he's like fucking with the shotgun. He's like, "Hey, babe, I got no fucking idea what to do with this."
Well, that was when they were...
No,
That's when he was assembling it.
Yeah, that's when he was assembling it.
So he had to assemble the fucking shotgun. Okay. And then, like I said, that's kind of when we learned that, like, he lied about going hunting with his dad when he was younger.
Yeah, because she called him out for it.
Do you think maybe that was supposed to show, like, why she didn't want to marry the fucking dude? She's like, I don't even know you, bro.
I mean, you would think they would, like, start showing, like, their traits and stuff. And I'm sure, like, there's some scenes where we kind of missed it, maybe.
I don't think that was necessarily a trait for them to be like, this is why I didn't want to marry you. Because it's like, I think it's just like...
I don't know, man. I mean, he lied. That's a pretty random thing to lie
it's
about.
not more like
it's
why...
probably just more of like a masculine thing.
Like, why he didn't want to marry you, but it's more like...
Just like, you lied about
That's
this.
the kind of guy he is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess. Like, that's what I took away from it. Because, like, why add that part in, you know, that he didn't know how to load it? Like, that had to be there for some reason.
I guess just to add more anxiety, I guess. Like him trying to like figure out how to put the gun together when they're getting chased down, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know.
So they figure out how to load it at the last second, and he shoots at the masked guy because he's about to break in with
He's
that
literally
fucking
like
axe.
dead center right there. They shoot literally directly at him. Nothing happens to that guy. And I'm like, this is where I'm starting to question, like, what's going on with these people? Dude literally was just standing right at the door. And then you don't hear him like getting out of the way or running away or anything.
Oh, you hear footsteps? I heard footsteps.
Of him running?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't hear anything, and I was like, this dude like literally just shot him point blank, and nothing happened to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't.
You guys ever seen that movie Malibu's Most Wanted?
No.
Okay, there's a reference in there, right, where the guy has two Uzis and he's shooting at all these gangbangers, and at the end of it, he stands on the car with both Uzis and he screams out, "Oh, it's a reference to Training Day, where with Denzel Washington, where he's like, King Kong ain't got shit on me." That's what I would start screaming with that fucking shotgun, bro. I'd be as obnoxious as I could with that motherfucker. Maybe it's a cultural thing to why they didn't.
More like a powerhouse thing.
something, something to psych yourself up to scare them a little bit. But no, these motherfuckers, they take the gun, which is smart. They take it and they go into a room and they sit in a corner, which is ideally what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they kind of just post up and they're just sitting there with the gun pointed at the door, waiting for someone to walk through it.
Yeah. And then that's when the guy that they call we forgot to mention that the husband, or guy or whatever.
The guy
he calls his friend
is Mike. And Mike is fucking Dennis, bro, from That's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He calls him in the beginning of the movie when they were like all mopey around and everything, because he's like, hey bro, I'm gonna need you to come pick me up. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And that's when he shows up after that part, and he's like, hey, tries calling him. At that point, they don't have the phone anymore because they took it, and they were like, the guy was like, hey, I came in actually earlier to pick you up because I'm always there for you, man. And then that's when that thing happened that you were like, what the fuck just happened, when they break his windshield.
Question.
Oh, because he was on the phone.
Yeah.
Would you have done the same? If your homeboy calls you at like 4 or 5 in the morning, says, "Yo, they say work it out. I need a ride."
It depends how good of friends we are.
Like, first of all, you have to be awake at 4 in the morning.
Yes.
Because I think when he calls him, he was like, hey man, I don't know if you're drunk right now or you're busy or something, but it ain't working out right now. We kind of need some alone time. Like, can you pick me up in the morning or whenever you get a chance,
Yeah, I think like as close as they're supposed to be, I'm assuming they're really close friends. I got friends that I would do that for. Like, no matter how far you're at, like, I'm sure you guys too, like, even if the dude's like fucking 4 hours away or some shit, like if it's some like life or death shit like that, like, yeah.
I'm like, life and death. I'm like, dude, why are you calling someone that's 4 hours away from you, first off?
Right. Well, not somebody you can count on, bro. Someone you need to talk to. Like, you got, like, I fucking need you, bro. Like, I might be gay, so come pick me up.
I changed my mind.
It ain't working out. I was the one that said no to marriage.
I'd be like, how about I call you an Uber and you talk to that guy on the way up here? So, now the dude's boy got there, Mike. He's outside while the couple is inside, fucking forded up with the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, Mike, he's on the phone trying to get a hold of his boy. He's not picking up. And like you said, that's when somebody threw some shit at his fucking windshield.
And there was nothing like that indicated, like showing like what happened. The guy just got out of the car, just looked around, but it didn't even show him looking around. Like, in his point of view, it just showed him looking around, and then he just went inside. And I'm like, what is this?
And then like he wasn't even like phased. He was like, oh, it's like, you know what? I'll deal with this later.
Pretty much, because he just walked out of the car and he walked into the house.
No, actually, before he walked in the house, that's when he kind of got suspicious a little bit, because he saw like the beat up Ford truck and then their car like messed up and like the doors opening and everything. Because before he got in the house, he grabbed I don't know if it was like a lead pipe or something.
And before he even did that, when the couple was in the room, remember I think the guy with the mask came inside.
Yeah,
he turned the music on.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing. He turned the music up really loud. So the guy Mike, he's walking around the house, and there's this kind of moment. Like, did you guys predict what was gonna happen?
I know he was gonna die. I could already tell.
Like, do you know how he was gonna die? Because remember, while he's walking through the house, the guy with the mask comes up behind him with his axe, and it looks like they kind of make you think like, oh, he's gonna get hit with the axe.
Because I remember when you were watching it, like when the guy was walking into the house, and before that they showed like the couple being forded up and like waiting for someone to pass by. I'm like, I bet that guy's gonna die because they're gonna shoot him because they're gonna think that he's one of them.
All right, so you saw that part coming also.
I saw that part coming.
Did you?
I didn't think he was gonna die right away, because when he was creeping up on him, I feel like the guy knew, like the killer knew that like I either he was waiting for like a good time, or that
you think when he turned the music on, he baited him into that, like he knew that was gonna happen.
I thought the music was already turned on before he got there.
No, he turned it on after he walked in the house, or after they forded up in the room.
No, but the guy that came, the music was already on by that time.
They turned it on like when he pulled up. At least that's how they shot
Yeah.
it. So like when they saw him pull up, that's when they
probably
turned the
missed
music
that.
on.
I probably
But
missed
I'm
that
saying
then.
like I feel like he knew that if he had killed them, like right there in the living room, things would go bad.
That's true, because if they hadn't shot him. Well, anyways, spoiler. That's what happens. Mike walks into the fucking door, and the guy shoots his boy.
And before that, the one of the killers is walking behind him.
Right.
And like it looks like he's literally looking behind him, but it's like not indicate that he sees him.
Like it's not in his peripherals yet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like,
I feel like he was a good distance to see, like from his peripheral like view.
that's what I thought. I thought when I saw that scene, that I thought it was gonna show him like he knew it, and he was gonna like turn around and like swing at him or something, and maybe the guy was with the axe was gonna hit him, and that's how he was gonna die. But it's like he didn't. He just kept walking forward, and I'm like, so you didn't see the guy?
Also, I was kind of like surprised that he didn't turn the music down.
Also, that like I'd be calling out, bro. Like if the house is all fucked up, I want motherfuckers to know I'm there.
Because what I thought at first too, before that scene where he's getting followed by the killer, I thought he was walking towards the music to find out where it's at to like turn it off.
You would think, but instead he's just gonna walk around the house while deaf.
Pretty much.
I don't know what that guy was thinking.
And also, as to why he didn't see him, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I've heard that like when your stress is up, your anxiety is up, you get tunnel vision. You can only see what's like right in front of you. You know, you're kind of just zoned in. Whatever you're seeing is what you're seeing. So maybe his peripherals went out the door. And also, we're probably looking too much into it.
I don't know, but also like
I think that part you're kind of like going too much into it.
you would think like you would know when someone's like creeping up. You know what I mean? Like
You would think,
like,
bro,
like,
but
like
I've been
that
surprised
close?
by motherfuckers.
That's what I'm like. That's what I'm like. I'm saying like they're like the whole time they're making no footstep noises. I get maybe this one scene I'll give it a pass because of the music. Maybe that's why I'll give it a pass. But other than that, it's like any other time they make no noise.
Right, so Mike gets shot, and the guy is shell shocked, obviously, because if you shoot your best friend, man, you're gonna feel a type of way. That'd be like if you guys fucking dome pieced each other on accident.
And it's like I noticed that the moment he saw someone he just shot, he didn't even like care who it was. Which I mean I get it, and under that type of anxiety and stress you do that, but don't you think you would kind of like let them walk a little more and then just see who it is and then shoot?
If you would like, to be fair, he thinks there's nobody else on the property that's supposed to be there.
That's true.
So if it's you and say, you know, your girl, bro, and you know like 100% these motherfuckers are trying to kill you,
I guess that's true.
you lose all of that light gap. There's no wait and see. I'm just shooting.
That's what I was like. I guess I can see because like all that going on, but it was like that dude didn't even hesitate. He just shot him like he didn't even see who it was and shot him right in the head.
That's impressive with the fucking shotgun.
First time shooting a gun too.
Exactly.
For a minute, I thought he was gonna like start blaming the girl, like why'd you make me shoot him?
That's what you would have done, man? That'd have been your move, huh?
Because like he realizes that it's his best friend. Like I feel like he got mad at her. Like
Cause he didn't he like get on top of her like kind of like shaking her or something like
Well,
that.
no, he did that because she was about to see and he didn't want her to see.
Oh, okay.
So he thought, like, I think that was him trying to protect her. Like, you don't need to see what I just did.
You just saw me do it, but you don't need to see it.
he's like, you just made me shoot my best friend.
But according to Moses' interpretation, no, it's your fault, bitch. Yeah, so after that, that's when he decides he's going to go outside and, like you said, look for help. And he left her by herself, right?
No, that's when they were together, and then he's like, "Oh, I remember there's a radio and stashed into that barn," and he's like, "You go hide, I'm gonna go try to reach it." Basically, like how you said. But my only thing is that whole time, not one time did they think about getting that dude's car keys and just driving off.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Like not
Well,
even
I
one
mean-
single like thought about, hey, he had to got here, but the car, because how else are you gonna get in the middle of nowhere?
It might have been implied that they must have like wrecked the car to make sure.
No, because he just broke his windshield.
I mean, I was going to say maybe they were too afraid to go outside, but he went to go look at the fucking radio. Like, you're right. Why wouldn't their first idea be to check out his car before the fucking old-ass radio in the barn?
Like, dude's dead, like completely. Like, if maybe like I could see maybe like he was still alive somehow, but dude was like completely dead. There's no getting him back to be alive. So
Yeah.
at that point, you're like, you might as well just leave him there. If he was like still alive, I can kind of see maybe why they would do that. Like, hey, we need some help. Call 911 to get emergency or whatever.
Also, he had his cell phone on him.
And that too. They didn't even think about calling someone out of his phone because that killer didn't even touch him or anything. Like after he got shot, before like how it showed that killer following him. The moment the dude got shot, killer was gone. He wasn't even there no more. So it's like they could have got his phone. They could have gotten his keys.
I give them the credit of being under too much stress.
I can see that,
Like he already had in his mind like the radio, so that was kind of the initial plan.
I don't know if that would have been like my initial thought. Like,
Like this dude snuck up on him, bro. They had no idea he was gonna be
like-
there. Like I think once he shoots him, my thought would have been like, I'm fucked. I'm going to prison because I just shot this motherfucker.
I'm sure there's a way around that.
but like, wouldn't you have been like, you're like, yo, my best friend's dead. I let in this slide. You know, there's gonna be blood. Like I thought,
Casualty of war,
Well,
bro.
Rambo over here.
I thought he was gonna go out there, guns blazing and everything.
People gotta die, man.
Good.
They were knocking on my door really hard.
It's gonna be like John Wick, where he grabs the hammer, just starts breaking down his floor and getting all the guns. He's like, "Where were all these guns before?" But anyway,
But so next part, the guy they all go outside. The guy goes outside to look at the barn by himself.
yeah,
Immediately gets knocked the fuck out.
that scene. Where,
All I remember is he's like army crawling on the floor or some shit, trying to hide. And that's when he turns around and the guy with the
just
mask.
running straight forward.
He had to have heard him creeping up though with all them leaves. and stuff.
Because he at first when he's crawling, he sees that. Doesn't he see the girl at first?
Yeah,
I think he gets
And then-
distracted.
And then he turns around and he always sees just that dude just running to the screen, and it's just like
but like,
you didn't hear that at all.
but even before he started running, like you would hear like the twigs and crunch and stuff.
You would think.
That's why I'm like, I don't get like how they make no noise, like walking or running or anything.
How did he knock him out? Did he punch him, kick him?
I think he kicked him.
I think he punched him or something, but I don't know. But I remember hearing the gunshot because that's when it flashed to the girl and she hears the gunshot.
So it flashes back to the girl after this guy gets knocked out in seconds. And this is the part that I was saying felt really fucking drawn out because it's about 15 minutes, maybe even 20. Am I not mistaken? Where she's kind of just wandering around the property.
Yeah,
And it's more or less her just getting flexed on by all three of these motherfuckers.
I thought that was the part where she runs outside to go to the thing.
She goes to the barn
She falls in the hole somehow.
and she's, like I said, she's doing all kinds of klutzy, like stereotypical, movie girl shit.
did they dig like they look like trenches?
That's what I thought, but I refuse to believe those motherfuckers dug a trench at any point.
No,
Like you would
I think that was just like a dip in the property.
you'd think the guy would be like, yo, there's a whole dip there. Like, be careful.
My parents built a fucking actual fort. There's a moat and an alligator behind the barn. Watch out.
there's some trench mines that they're just watch your feet.
We got some apocalypto booby traps if you hit that tree.
Dude, she just like
She ran into a
straight
ditch,
into it,
bro.
yeah.
There's a ditch. She tripped.
And the whole time I never understood, was her like leg broken? Was her foot broken? Was her ankle sprained? Like I never understood it.
It might be safe to assume she twisted her ankle or some shit, but who knows? They never say. But like I said, like, yeah, she goes to the barn. She tries to use the radio. It gets smashed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole time, like, she's just kind of seeing the strangers, fucking, like, stalking her in the background. They're kind of, like I said, I feel like they're just flexing. Like, at this point, they're all, like, there's one point the bitch is on a swing.
Yeah, and next
In
thing
the
you
middle
know,
of all that, she's on a swing.
and then next thing you know, she's not even there no more. And it's
Exactly.
Just, they all just vanish.
And they all vanish. Old girl goes back into the house. And that's when she hides in the closet, right?
Yeah, that scene where he's like looking for her, and all you hear is the guy just breathing super heavy and hard.
I feel have a feeling that the guy knew that she was there.
Oh, he had to have. Like, I'm assuming that's what happened, is maybe they're all standing around, and when he went out of view of the closet, he pointed to the blonde chick,
yeah.
like...
Because that's when she just pops out and like should do like a jump scare type
Yeah,
thing.
because its focus is on the guy with the sack on his head. She's watching him walk around and shit.
Potato sack.
The potato sack. We're gonna get into that also. So then he leaves, and that's when the blonde chick does the jump scare. I think that was the only jump scare of the movie, for real, right?
I don't think there was. I think
That's
that
the
was,
only one I remember.
there was a couple of them, but it wasn't like
There was one where the guy goes outside and like he's like immediately like no, I think the girl scares him when he's coming back inside.
there were other jump scares, but
They were, but like they were minor.
but
yeah.
they were very horrible jump scares.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they weren't like memorable. Like, because I said that's the only one I think of is
Yeah.
when she just pops up into this fucking closet and she starts just slapping at these fucking wood blinds. And that's pretty much all she did, right?
She just slapped them and she just walked away, and I was like, okay. I mean, I guess it goes to the point where they're just messing with
Yeah,
them.
at that point, like they're just toying
messing-
around with
yeah.
it.
And then that's when the chick comes out of the closet and the blonde chick is in the living room, like kind of playing with the wedding ring before she picks up a kitchen knife.
And wasn't she saying like you're gonna die or something like that? Or
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill you,
because then the main girl goes and she grabs her own little mini knife. She has like a little fucking butter knife.
Yeah, I was like, wasn't it like a butter knife?
It was a butter knife, and old girl has the fucking big one.
Like the butcher
Like you
knife.
would think she'd grab the big one before like she go in the closet.
You would think. But then, so I think while they're having this stare down, like if they're about to do some shit, that's when her man flies in through a fucking patio door.
I had like
Yeah.
I had the initial thought like he was just gonna like come out of nowhere and like just swing on the girl and stuff.
Like I said, dude,
Yeah,
this
and
movie,
then-
like, sometimes they're trying to make it super, like, so human-like, but then, like, they're, like, doing things that, like,
It's just like
not
you're
human
just
possible.
like you have that thought like what the hell is going on the outside? like how are they doing these
Like
things?
they're definitely like a fucking college football team, bro, calling plays out there.
It's like, all right, you go do this, I'll go do this.
They have a
All right.
whole notebook of the plays and stuff.
Like, coach, I gotta take a shit. Okay,
Put me
listen,
in.
listen. Let me find a tree. Let me shit. You go knock on the door some more. Okay, a couple more times.
Put me in, coach. Put me in.
So now they all walk in the house. The guy has a shotgun, so the girl knows she's pretty much fucked.
Isn't that when it cuts off and shows, like, them in the morning?
No, because next she tries to run away. She locks herself, or she closes the door on a room or some shit, and she's like banging on the window.
Upstairs.
And then she decides to go back out towards the hallway. I can't remember why. But the second she gets close to the door,
I think he heard her scream, or he heard the guy scream, maybe?
oh yeah, the guy was moaning or some shit.
Something like that.
So she goes back to the hallway, and that's when the guy with the sack on his head snatches her fucking ass and throws her into a wall. So now she's like half conscious, half awake, half asleep on the fucking floor.
Yeah, that's when I told you, I was like, dude, I don't understand. Like, why is she, like, barely trying to, like, do anything? She's just, like, moving her hands around.
Yeah, because he
But, like,
grabs her
in the-
by her legs and he's dragging her, and that's the part you're talking about is where she's like kind of like half-ass grabbing at shit.
Like, not even trying to kick her or anything. She's just, like, moving
mean-
her arms around, like, what are you doing?
I give her props for like trying the most because like I feel like the guy at that point he just like
The guy just gave up.
Yeah,
I
he
could
just
tell.
gave up.
Let's be real, guys. He ran a lot. He was tired as fuck by then. That's why he was breathing so heavy.
No. Well, are we talking about that guy or are we talking about the husband?
I'm talking about her boyfriend.
Yeah, because that's what I was like. You could tell by the end of it. That guy was like, dude.
He was defeated.
He was like, I give
Yeah.
up.
Bro, he got knocked out in seconds. That's low-key why.
No, but yeah, that guy was like really breathing really heavy up by the end of the movie. Because even when he was dragging, he was like struggling with the
So
inhaler.
after the dragging scene, when she's reaching and shit, that's when it fades to black, and it's the next morning. And then the couple's tied up in the living room. They're in chairs, I think.
Yeah, they're tied up together. She has the wedding ring on, and she has that dress that he bought her, or that she was wearing, or the
Yeah,
nightgown.
like-
or something
Oh,
like that.
so
Did they?
I forgot. I didn't notice that. They redressed her because
Yeah.
she changed from a nightgown to jeans and a flannel.
And then they redressed the guy too because he had his tie and everything back on, his suit and everything.
I didn't catch that. That's a good catch.
Yeah, they redressed him and they had the ring on and everything.
I was,
Too.
I was wondering why though.
I didn't catch that part.
Like
Yeah.
there was no need for that.
I mean, like I said, I think they're just fucking with them at that point. They're playing with them. Like they
Yeah.
feel like they own
that
them
point,
at
But
yeah.
that
like
point.
that's the thing. Like they were playing with them, but I feel like it was just pointless at that
It
time.
was just teasing them basically.
Because like they already gave up. Like maybe the girl like was still kind of like begging them, but the guy was just like, man, I don't even care no more.
Well, they're essentially just mind fucking them at that point.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, this was you guys were supposed to be married or something like that, and since she saw the wedding ring and like all that stuff, so they're just probably messing with them. Like I don't know.
So they wake up in the chairs, tied up, and the strangers are standing like in front of them. And I think that's the part when the chick ask them, why are you doing this? And they say the line, because you were home.
Then that goes back to what I was saying, how it's just like they were there. If they never answered, then they probably just have left,
Possibly.
And that's like the whole thing where I was saying also like it could happen to anyone because it's like you were home.
I had like initial thought that like they planned it out.
So then the couple kind of like touches hands and shit. I'm going to get to that. And then they look at each other lovingly, right? And to me, I thought she was going to say some shit like, I do. Or, reference that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she just tells the dude, I love you.
The guy doesn't even say it back. I think
No.
the guy's just all defeated.
He's
just
defeated.
Like he's just all next to her, but he doesn't even say it back or anything.
I almost feel like the way she said, I love you was more or less like, but I'm still saying, no, motherfucker.
we're
We're
about to
still
die.
not doing this, dog.
It's like we're about to die. This is the only reason I'm saying it.
She should have been like, this changes nothing.
She's like, I guess.
I'd rather die than be married to you.
Pretty much. And that's kind of when the thought crept into my head, like Moy said earlier, like this dude's having the worst fucking day ever.
Yeah, at that
Like
point.
she refused his proposal, and now he's fucking about to get murdered by 3 fucking people in masks.
Yeah.
And he shot his boy.
And he shot a boy. So yeah, this dude had like the worst night you could basically have.
I feel like it just went way worse for that guy.
Oh, significantly.
I think it's probably why the guy was like he just gave up at the end when he was tied up and everything. He's just like, I just gave up.
And
Dude.
like half of it wasn't even because of them. It was just more like his bad luck.
Pretty much.
Dude had bad karma that day.
Nah, and that's the point when the strangers take their masks off. Do you think there was any significance to that, or why they took their masks off? I think once they took their masks off, I think that showed the couple like, ah, fuck, we seen their faces. Because if you keep the masks on, like in a robbery, you know, you're wearing a mask. That's why most of the time they don't do anything. The second somebody's mask is off or your identity shown, that's that whole thing. Like, all right, now we got to kill this dude because he's seen my face.
I feel like there's a meaning behind it, but I don't think it really is. But what I think of it is more of just like going back to the whole. It could be anyone.
That too, or maybe like, oh, like we're not playing.
Because at that point
You know?
they're just taking the mask off. Because at that point they're gonna die anyway. So it's like it doesn't matter if you see who they are because you're not gonna run to the police or anything.
I know. I think that's what that represented. Is once the mask came off, it was kind of like, oh,
It's it.
This
You
is
know?
it now.
Yeah.
You know what we look like. Now we're gonna kill you 150%.
Yeah.
But was there really a need for a mask? Like maybe for precaution, but
It's
like,
just I guess just
I think
more
that
to
just
scare
played it up just to scare him.
more a scare factor than anything.
because I'm like they didn't know them.
Like I said, it could be anyone.
Was it just me, or did the masks outside of the guy with the sack feel really lazy?
The girls' masks.
The girls' masks? Because what was it? One looks like a fucking Betty Boop. You know who that is?
Yeah.
That's what one looked like. And the other one was just like, was it a rabbit?
You know what I thought about?
No, it was like a baby.
I
one,
thought
isn't it?
about because The Purge came out when like 2012, 2014,
2013.
2013. I have a feeling that this movie inspired The Purge a little bit
I could see that.
in some aspects. Because like the masks, like all that whole aspect, and then basically the whole home intruders aspect also. Of course, making a difference to make it their own spin with the whole government thing. But I have a feeling that when I think about it now, because I've seen both of them now, the Purge got inspired a lot by this one.
Well, yeah, but then if you're doing that, you could argue that like Halloween and Friday the 13th inspired the strangers. Like it's not new for a home invasion movie to have someone get stalked by a mask.
Yeah, but in those movies,
It's more of a supernatural like.
there
type
was
thing.
more. The mask had meaning. You know what I mean? I feel like in this, like it was just kind of like
It's a Halloween costume, basically.
it was just like eh.
So the masks come off, and then they proceed to one at a time stab them, stick each one. Right? They're kind of rotating it out on each one of them.
Yeah.
I was curious why they stabbed the girl like one. Like didn't she only get stabbed one time?
No, she got stabbed multiple times.
I think they implied that they both got stabbed a fuck ton of times.
I think the guy from at least from what they showed, the guy got stabbed 3 times. He was still alive when she was getting stabbed. She got stabbed like 3 times or so.
And did you guys notice that when they were doing the stabbing sequence, the camera was going to the outside and it was showing like different flashes of the outside of the house, like they were showing a tree, different parts of the house and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was to imply, and it was broad daylight.
Yeah.
And like you guys were saying, I think that was to imply that this could happen at any fucking house and you wouldn't know it.
Yeah,
Like it looked normal as shit on the outside.
like no matter what time of day.
Yeah, because when those flashback or not flashback, but like those scenes from the outside of the house, the whole time you were hearing like them screaming, like because they were getting stabbed.
Yeah, the audio's still playing.
Yeah.
But like they're showing shots of the outside, and I think that's what that was for, was to show that like it could happen fucking anywhere and you wouldn't notice.
That and probably also like the torture they were giving them, I guess, the stabbing them like multiple times.
And then it cuts to black again, and then we see the woman on the floor, or both of them, they're on the floor, right? Just covered in blood.
Yeah.
And she actually moves, which was shocking.
Yeah, she was still alive.
And she hears a phone ringing. She crawls to the cell phone that's like 15 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
On her stomach, which is where she got stabbed 30 times.
Was it on her stomach or was like on
She
her
was on her
side?
stomach, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
it was in the front.
She was 100% fucking army crawling on her gut where there's like 20 stab wounds, which bothered me. But she gets to the phone, she picks it up. She didn't get to the phone in time. Nobody talked.
I thought she answered it, but we didn't get to hear what it said.
Nah, she answered it, but I don't think there was anyone there.
Because then when it happens, is the guy comes back and picks up the phone,
Yeah, because the dude with the mask is behind her, like standing over.
which make that part made me think. I was like, is that the guy's phone that he left behind, or is that the best friend's phone?
It was,
That was
the
the
best
friend's
friend.
phone.
Yeah.
The friend's phone.
I'm pretty sure. So then, like you said, the guy with the sack on his head picks up the phone from her, right?
Isn't he changed?
Yeah.
He had different clothes on now. He didn't have a suit on. He
I
had
didn't notice that.
he had like jeans and like Tim's or something.
He had on fucking Tim's.
He had some type of boots, but I noticed that he didn't have the brown suit he was wearing. He had like regular jeans and a shirt, which I guess maybe I have a feeling that maybe like to cover up, they probably went to like their wardrobe and like put something on different to kind of just like leave the evidence behind.
Probably.
Which I don't think there'd be need for them. Like nobody saw them, and also they didn't get dirty.
Possibly, man. Like, they didn't really give us a lot of answers. Like, it's a lot of speculation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that movie's, when you think about it, it's more like it's kind of just imagination type thing where it's like you figure out what happens or anything.
So the guy walks away. He doesn't do anything to her. He just kind of dips, and it looks like she dies. Like, she stops moving pretty much, right?
Yeah, because she just passes out or something like that.
And that's when we see the two kids on the bikes. And they're like down the street or some shit, and they see the strangers dipping out in their Ford truck. And what would you call those kids?
They are
Because they were in like schoolboy uniforms, but they had pamphlets.
they're missionaries.
Missionary, so they're there to like preach, like Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witness, right?
Yeah,
Door to
basically.
door. And the truck stops next to him, and the blonde chick, who was initially the one knocking on the couple's door to begin with, she approaches them and she takes one of their pamphlets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the kids asked them, like, "Are you a sinner?"
Either that or do you sin a lot or something like that.
Yeah, and then she said, "Sometimes," I think, right?
Yeah, she's like sometimes.
And then she gets back in the truck, and that's when they say that line, like, "It'll be easier next time."
Yeah,
That's when the one with the black hair tells the blonde haired chick that.
which that's what I told you earlier. Like it makes me think that they've done it multiple times already, and like they're probably trying to get her and like in more involved into it. And it's kind of like her like kind of like saying like, I mean, this is kind of me thinking a little too much into it, but it's like symbolizing like her, like it wasn't easy for her, and that's when they said the line. Which is why it shows the pamphlet and everything. Like kind of like she's like, I kind of like I don't feel good about this type thing.
Possibly. Like, I didn't put that together, like you said, the first time, that possibly they were a family. Like, it was a dad, a mom, and the blonde chick was the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking, like, how easy could it get after like that was it was very
No, more of not easy like as in like killing them easy, but more of easy like her killing someone easy. Like, oh, it's gonna be more easier for her to kill someone next time instead of this time because maybe it was like her first time killing someone or something. You know?
True.
You think she wouldn't have killed that woman? The girl?
What do you mean?
You think the blonde killer wouldn't have killed the girl? Like you think she didn't have the guts to do it?
I don't know, man. We wouldn't know. I don't think
Oh, you're
so.
talking about like the scene where like she has a knife
when they're both like,
and then the guy busts it in and kind of stops that. Okay, I see what you mean.
I mean, I think to be as far as they got, you got to have something wrong with you. Like, they would have done it some way. So then the next scene is when the missionary kids actually get to the fucking house.
yeah, and this is also the
The
beginning.
bravest fucking missionary kids in the goddamn world. They were real missionary kids. They've seen some shit because they see the fucked up cars. They set their fucking car on fire. They did all kinds of shit. There's all kinds of shit that tells you, hey, do not go into this fucking house.
Get someone or something, you know?
Find somebody. But these missionary kids, bro, fucking crosses, Bibles, they're ready.
They're ready to bring people back to life and do resurrection.
They go inside, bro. There's blood all over the walls. There's a big ass shotgun fucking hole in the front door. Fuck it. They walk past it all. The next scene is one of the kids standing over, you know, the boyfriend or the guy's body,
Uh-huh.
and he's just kind of staring. And the other kid standing over the chick's body and the friend. And for some reason, the kid reaches for the girl. I think he's gonna like check her breath or something. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. Maybe he was gonna check her pulse through her tit. And you know, that's when that is another jump scare. 'Cause she jumps up and grabs the motherfucker.
See that, and that's when the movie ends. So
That's how it ends.
That's how it ends, and I'm like, that's the only thing I'm confused about. Is so she got stabbed so many times. Did she not get stabbed as much as the husband did, or is she like pretending to be dead, or like that's why they left, or
Well, I've heard of that before. Like it's hard to kill somebody stabbing them sometimes because you gotta hit
depending on
a
where.
you gotta hit a fucking organ. If you stab somebody, because a knife is so thin, you could stab somebody 20 times and not hit an organ.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't hit something big, you'll bleed out eventually, but you can live. I'm assuming.
Also, like, you would think there'd be like more blood on the ground.
That, and with as much effort as these motherfuckers put into fucking with these people, you think they'd check to make sure they were dead.
This was like maybe she played possum.
Because now what I've been like shutting you down from talking about the entire thing, which I apologize, is they had to have plotted this bitch out. They had to have known every motherfucking, like, you guys ever seen a movie called I know you haven't, Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon?
No.
I have not seen it.
It's like a mockumentary about a serial killer, and this guy's like aspirations to be Jason or Michael Myers, and it shows pretty much that he's basically like letting a crew follow him, and he's like pretending to be, Jason or Michael Myers in this town. Like he's giving them information on his lore. But a part of that movie is that he's like, he tells them like, oh, I gotta have crazy fucking cardio, man, because when they're not looking, I'm running my fucking ass off. Or he's like, I gotta know this location inside and out. He's like, I gotta know like the secret rooms. I gotta know the secret passageways. I gotta think of everything they're gonna do. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So more or less, like them motherfuckers had to have, the way it was shot, like they were so comfortable, they had to have fucking game planned that bitch out. That's why I don't think that the part where if they knocked, they wouldn't have. They had to have done it because they had to have known every fucking inch. Like they had to know that radio was in that barn. They had to know fucking all kinds of shit. How to get into the house.
I can see that, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm 100% on it, because like the whole like, it plays on to they know exactly where everything's at and they're acting kind of dumb to kind of like tease them. Or they literally just go house to house. Well, not house to house, but like pick the victim and just play it by ear. But I don't know. It's like I can see how it has to be planned, but at the same time, I can see how it doesn't have to be planned, and they just like play it by ear.
Because like, what if you get to a house that like you don't want to be in? You know what I mean?
I take it back, because why would they let them have a shotgun if they knew what was in the fucking house?
Exactly.
That is a big example of why that's not true.
I'm not saying like they had to know every detail, but it was more or less they know that like what's around it.
Because like going back to what you just said right now, it's like if they were gonna be like straight up like we're giving them no advantages, they would have taken that shotgun.
They'd have took the knives. They'd have took the shotgun.
Yeah, and then if they were playing like, well, we'll mess with them and kind of give them think like there's hope to survive. Why would you still leave a shotgun and everything that could like literally kill you in like a second?
You're right.
It's like maybe leave the knives because it's more of like you have to get lucky with those. But if you get one shot with a shotgun, you're basically done, So I was like, I don't think it was like planned. I think it's just more of them just like while they were there seeing what's your surroundings and then just going by that. But that's what I think.
I'm like, were they like obviously they have to have been experienced. Because they knew to like get rid of the cell phones, the cars, and then like cut the power and stuff like that.
And it's like that's at least that's how I go back to the whole like it's not their first time doing it.
So overall thoughts.
The second one was better.
I haven't seen the second one. I heard that this one was good. That this movie's like good, and the second one was really bad. That's what I heard. After watching this one, I'm still on like the rise of is it good or is it not good? Like
Also,
I can see what they were going for and how it works off. At the same time, it's like I don't see anything that stood out to me.
Yeah, it's not a slasher movie. Like it's not. If you really think about it,
It's pretty close to a slasher.
like it is, but it's not.
It's more
it's
like
home invasion.
it's
Basically, yeah.
Isn't it more like a suspense movie?
More so. I think the only thing that makes it not like I have my own personal category. Like when I consider a movie like more of a Lifetime movie. When it's more dramatic driven, more drama driven with like little sprinkles of horror in it. And the only thing that keeps this movie from being that is the fact that the strangers are wearing masks. If they weren't wearing masks, bro, it'd just be a Lifetime movie.
So if they showed their faces and who they were and everything.
Yeah, because then it's not like that's the whole horror aspect that they're wearing fucking masks, more or less, right? Because imagine if they were just like hillbillies or some shit.
Would you sort of compare them to like, say, like the Scream movies? Not the plot, but more so how
How it works out.
the killer sort of goes about.
No, Scream is more of mock horror because it's like.
Well, yeah, it's making fun of like these horror
making
movies.
fun of the tropes.
But I'm saying like the way like Ghostface goes about killing people.
No, I'd call that a slasher too. Because
Well,
at the end of the day, when you have
I would call that a slasher, whereas this,
once they have a knife and it penetrates your body, it becomes a slasher.
Tell me this: do you think that if they didn't have the masks on, but they still didn't show their faces, would it change anything?
I guess it could be because that'd make it more like you guys haven't seen the old Prom Night movie. That's what that was pretty much. It's a guy walking around. He doesn't have a mask, but you just never see his face. So yeah, I guess it's the same idea.
So tell me this then. So say this movie was literally the same thing. One version of it was like how it is now. Just they have their mask on, you never see their face. Another version is they don't have the masks, but you still don't see the face. Another one is they don't have the masks, but you see their faces. Like how
So do you know what happens when they take the masks off? Nobody talks about the movie. Because that's a big part of it. It's iconic. That's why that's like the background, the poster for the movies, all has the stranger's masks in it. You take away the mask, there's nothing special about the movie. Is that fair to say?
yeah, but also the mask didn't really symbolize anything.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
They're iconic though. I don't know why, but they are. Like you remember the fucking masks.
because
Specifically the one guy. I think the chicks are kind of forgettable.
You think they were kind of like it was kind of like a backup plan?
what do you mean?
Like when they made the movie, the
Yeah.
last second, the guy was like, "Oh fuck, put these on."
Well, I'm not saying the last thing, but like
Like it was a gimmick.
yeah, like
It was definitely gimmicky. I think. I feel it was like there was no purpose for him.
The only thing I would say is maybe just trying to hide their identities.
well, because
But
even like
then
they don't show like I guess you can sort of see like a couple scenes like
you see the girl's face.
but you don't see the other people's faces. I feel like obviously like it was intentional, but I didn't get the meaning behind it.
Can you? I don't remember, but in the first scenes when you see the girl in knocking on the door and everything, can you see her face clearly, or is it like in the dark, kind of like shadowy?
You can make out the features. It's not like completely gone, but you can definitely make out the features.
Because didn't she unscrew the light bulb and everything?
I don't know if she did it. I guess you could assume she did it, yeah. But yeah, you can make out her face, like features. So yeah.
Like you can't clearly see it completely, but if you were to like look hard enough, you could.
Yeah. Like you would definitely see that if you saw her on Instagram or Facebook.
Like, because I'm like, no offense, dude, but that was like not that good quality. So you can see the pixels and everything, and I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was like if it's meant to be like super dark, where you can't see her face, like you can kind of see it, like how in the other movie, in the rest of the movie, you don't necessarily see their face directly, but you can kind of see like the side of her or something like that. He was trying to play off of that, or do you like legit like see her whole face?
You can make out her face. There's no like guessing. Like you can see it pretty much. Like faintly, but you can make it out.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Like in my opinion, it's an okay movie. That's how I'd rate it. It's okay. It's not complete shit. It's not amazing. Like I wouldn't like if I was the way I rate movies, right, is there's some movies I'm excited to show people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be exactly pumped to show this to someone.
It was on your list though.
It was on my list, but like I said, literally just I know what it's like culturally did. Like it was the mask thing was really impactful. Like a lot of people know what the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's not one of my favorites. The kills there's really only 3. The guy that gets shot on accident.
Which wasn't even by the killer's hands.
Right, so there's no great like practical effects or anything to get excited about.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, is it really a slasher movie?
And like going before that, it's kind of just showing that it can happen at any time, with anyone. Like maybe that's what they're trying to go, instead of going like let's do like a special effect or let's do like something crazy, because it's probably just kind of like let's kind of keep it realistic. So maybe in that sense, that's why it wasn't like nothing like super outstanding.
Yeah, and there's no real like character growth. Like, is anybody any different by the end of the movie? No, they're just kind of scared the entire time.
You learn a little bit of them, but that's basically it. There's no like character development where it's like I know their whole story now and I know what their motivations are or whatever. It's just more of like these guys are gonna die, so you don't really care what you know.
It was like a science experiment where they're like, let's put these people in this house. Let's put these people out here, boost their speed and stealth and strength, and just watch them get fucked up.
Basically. And then going back to what you mentioned earlier about the costumes, like you were gonna say something about the guy's mask or the potato guys.
So yeah, the guy's wearing a fucking potato sack on his head. And it looks like he painted some black shoe polish or some shit. Did he put like a smirk on the motherfucker?
Yeah, he put like a smiley face or something like that. Something like that.
Which was dopeness.
You know how, you know that guy was hot in that mask, cause like,
And it looks just like the mask, like you said, from The Dark Knight. Or is it the one before that? Batman Begins?
Yeah, it's Batman Begins.
It's the Scarecrow. That exact, even the fucking outfit. The guy wears the suit and the tie.
Yeah.
So more or less, we're watching the Scarecrow like try to break into this fucking house out in the sticks.
And I couldn't tell. Was it? I know he had one hole to see out. Was the other one just blacked out, or was it also opened?
I think it was blacked out. Like they did that Michael Myers thing where you can't ever actually see his eyes.
Cause I saw him on the other eye. He had blue eye, but I just couldn't tell if the other side of the mask was like blacked out, or he just had like black makeup on, or what.
Either one probably, but you just couldn't see the eyes well because I never noticed any eyes.
I saw his eyes.
He had blue eyes.
He did have like weird looking eyes. I think like his was the scariest out of all of them.
Well, his was the most memorable because the other chicks, they looked like they were just wearing plastic, really old school masks.
It was very like cutesy, I guess.
I think that was kind of the idea though. It was like contrast his really scary looking fucking one. Because his was legitimately scary. Like, that's fucking freaky.
No, yeah, and then like how you were saying that scene earlier when he's just in the background, just like in the dark, by like with no sound or anything. Like if you were to see that, you would freak out.
It's terrifying, bro.
Yeah. But as the other ones, if it was to say it was the other characters doing that, it wouldn't be as terrifying.
It wouldn't be nearly as effective.
Yeah.
Just some kids.
No, but so like before I did this podcast, right? I was thinking like how I could stand out, how I would rate movies.
Mm-hmm.
And the scale I decided to come up with is from 1 to 6.
Why'd you cut out? Like
Because after I say 1 to 6, I say inches.
I get you.
So on a scale of 1 to 6, I'd say I'll go 3. I'm gonna play it safe. Because like I said, I don't have any strong opinions on it.
Why are you doing a scale from 1 to 6?
Because
you're not getting the joke. That's why.
I googled the average length of the American taco, and it's 6 inches. You sick fuck.
Oh, how dare you
I
think
was
like
just
that?
asking.
Why are you thinking so much into it?
So we're giving it a 3 out of 6 inches. You guys?
I'm still mixed about it. I can't tell if it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's not as good as people made it seem like it was.
So you feel it was a little overrated?
I
can see that, like, watching it back.
It's not. There's other movies that are way more overrated. I can't think of one right in my head that I always thought people always hyped it up so much. When I watched it, it was like horrible. But it's not bad. It's not like overrated. Like this movie's just terrible. Why would everyone like it? It's like it's good, but it's not like amazing. So I would probably be like a 4 inches.
Ooh.
Well, think about it. Aside from money, like obviously, like it had to have made like some like good amount of money. You think if it was like that good, would there have been a reason to make another one?
Well, think about how long it took to make another one.
It did take like 10 years to make another one.
And
it was the same director, so it was probably that one guy fighting fucking to get that made.
Judging by the second one, and like I'm not gonna spoil the second one, but like judging by how things went, you think it was a good call?
To make another one? I think that was something I forgot to talk about.
No,
the movie.
I'm saying like you think it's good, and like you think the first one's good enough where it doesn't need another one, or like
it needed a sequel, like because there were so many unanswered questions and shit. And the way it ended with the girl like still alive at the time, I remember when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, there's gonna be another one where she's hunting after these motherfuckers," and obviously that didn't happen.
I was also thinking about this movie is like I remember hearing a lot of people were like that would say it's good, like the reviews I saw from it, like when I was like interested about it. I remember hearing about how people were saying that this movie, like when you watched it, like I guess when it first came out or whatever, it paranoid people because it's like like I was saying the whole time where it's like it kind of shows that it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
That it left that effect of like
I can
like
see that. I can see
it
that.
being like, oh, you're home alone at night and like this could happen to anyone type of thing.
I think it's
Whereas-
more so just that first act when they're like stalking the house and like she doesn't know that they're in there.
And it's like kind of like I was going to, it was like it's kind of like that when the Paranormal Activity came out, where everyone was like, "Oh, this can like literally happen in the middle of the night. You don't know what's going on in the night or whatever." Kind of like playing off of that, you know.
We should do Paranormal Activity next.
Even though I've never seen any of them,
You've never seen any of them?
I only heard that the first one's good though.
You're hearing it here, folks. We're doing Paranormal Activity next.
Confirmed.
But
Pencil
you
it in.
still-
You
you
didn't say what you.
You still haven't given your rating yet though, or your
Back to the
interest.
rating. Back to the inches. Judging from like the scale, since we're only going up to 6, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Wow.
So you more didn't care for it.
It's not that I care about. Like I can see what they're trying to do, and like I can see it. I can see it worked. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't.
Do you think if you were to watch it again, it would change your mind?
No.
When I watched it again, my opinion went down a bit.
It
Because
went
I
down?
had that nostalgic effect of, like I said, when I saw it in theaters, 10 years ago or 12 years ago.
Uh huh.
I remember it being a lot better. But like I said, that's probably just nostalgia. Like now that I'm watching it now and actually like looking for shit and I have shit to scale it up with of what I like and stuff, it definitely went back a little for me.
Like, even though I give it a 4, because it's not, to me, it's not a bad movie. It's not something I would be like, oh, let me go watch it again.
Yeah.
But I see what they were going for and I give them the effort for it. I can see that if they were to improve on things, how it could be like it could have been a really good movie. Like if they would actually like, I don't know, maybe plot a little things a little better or something, give it more time or more money or whatever.
I think they were just trying to keep it simple.
It was definitely, there's nothing, they fleshed out too much. It's a simple plot. It's home invasion with nothing else. And they really stretched that out for an hour and a half.
Which makes me wonder. I wonder if they didn't have the budget for it, or they're trying to make it as simple as possible.
Considering that when we looked at the director's fucking palette and he doesn't have any other movies. I mean, he has like 10 other movies, but I've never heard of them. So I'm assuming the guy was probably on a budget. That probably also was part of it.
And he's probably just trying to do as much as he could with the budget and try to keep it. That's probably maybe why he kept it simple. Because without spoiling anything, how much is can you tell of the budget difference between the first one and the second one?
Also, I feel like if you like get into the whole like this was based on true events, you're kind of like limited as to how like much you can put into it.
Well, like that goes back to me saying how it's like they're trying to keep it like realistic as possible.
Yeah. Like,
Well, speaking of the budget, that's probably also why they had masks, because he pulled some homeless guy off the street to put a sack on his fucking head.
Did you really?
No, but
Oh.
it's possible, bro. You never know. Like, I don't know who the guy with the mask is.
Well, back to the question then. Like comparing this one to the second one, how much is the budget? Can you tell? Is it a big difference, or is it like same, or what?
From the music alone, I could tell they spent a lot more fucking money, because isn't the second one's littered with fucking like 80s pop songs, I think,
yeah.
which
which is fire. But anyways, let's not talk too much about the second one, because we might do that one at some point.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, I give it props for what it tried doing. Maybe it's because it's my first time watching it, but I give it props for what I can see what it's trying to go for.
With that being said, guys, we're creeping up on an hour and a half right now. So, everybody, thank you for listening. Facebook page and shit's going to be up soon. Shout out to young Moses and Alex for being here with me on this journey. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to close these out yet, but thank you for listening. This is the Death Taco Podcast.
Creepy, surreal. Someone better get the door. Someone better get the door. Who's gonna get the door?